to deal with oil theft in Nigeria. But first, we'll be taking the perspective of private security outfits and how far they have gone in dealing with the situation and whether there's anything more that needs to be done to preserve the economic power that has got in the country. And we do have in the studio Godspower Ede, who is the Director, Media and Strategy in Northern Youth Progressives Network. Thank you so much,
Good to have you.
Godspower, and welcome.
Thank you so much, and good to have you.
So is it Godspower that you're using for, dealing with some of these issues that Nigeria is battling about, or is there a special technology or special strategy being deployed?
Well, it's a combination of both, but in this case, we're using human ability and, a group that, a security organization that has come with a lot to offer Nigeria to bring to an end this hydra-headed monster, this age-long, menace that has eaten deep into our system and is affecting our economy in a very bad manner.
All right, oil theft has been quite around for a while, and I think that's the crux of the matter, and precisely in the Niger Delta. Why do you think this menace has continued unabated?
All right. Well, once again, I say thank you for having me, for inviting me for this program. And I would like to begin with a famous quote by Martin Luther King Jr., who says, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." So the issue is that the situation has been existing for a very long time, especially since the era of the military era around the late 1970s and early 1980s. That is when this menace started, and it began with the top military brass who took control of the affair of oil activities in the Niger Delta, and they were stealing. And because they were stealing, there was this kind of collaboration, also cooperation between them and the militia organizations, the local communities, and other workers in the who are working with multinational oil companies to also steal from the organization. When you engage in illegal activities, sometimes you try to bend backwards so that you allow other people to also do it, so that it doesn't seem like you are the only one manipulating or monopolizing the whole thing. So that is when it started. And because it started from the top, those who are meant to safeguard the installations, the facilities, and the nation resources are the ones who are, at the forefront of, stealing. And so it continues. And so it has become like, a game that is done by two parties. Two of us are involved, so what else? We continue, and it has continued unabated up to this moment. So it is a menace that has lasted for a very long while. And you and I know that for this nation to get it better, this thing has to end somehow.
Yeah, it has to end, and that's why I captioned it, "How to End Oil Theft in the Country."
Exactly.
Okay, we'll come to your role as a private security operatives in that regard, but let's first look at the role of security, Nigeria's security agencies in the first place in dealing with this. I know that so many effort has been made in the past, that the military of all sectors, the Navy, even JTF at some point was involved as well. Exactly. But it was as if the more we make effort, the more we're having problems, until we started seeing the involvement of the private security outfit and then the busting of some illegal connections and all of that. But tell us, being in that region, what did you identify as why it was almost an impossible task for the Nigerian government to deal with this on its own?
You see, like I did mention earlier, why it has not been this successful is because the people who are saddled with the responsibility of safeguarding the installation, of protecting these facilities, or securing what is happening there, are the ones who are involved
The people, you
Yes,
said. That's an umbrella word.
No, I'm talking about the security organizations, the federal security agencies, the military, the navy, the police, the JTF, as you call them, and the rest of them. You know, why they've not been able to achieve much success is because of compromise. It's because they that are meant to protect these installations or that are meant to safeguard that environment are the one who are more of involved in the illegal deal.
Is that a proven fact or an accusation or an allegation?
You may choose to call it anything, but the truth of the matter is that we all know how these things are happening in that region. Most of the people who are meant to protect them are the ones who are deeply involved or trying to pave way for others to come and, you know, to do it so that at the end of the day, they share the profit. That has always been the challenge there. So it is, of course, it has been a very difficult task. You know, if you like change them over and over, you keep having the same result because whoever gets there will want to have his own share of the national cake, as it is commonly referred to in Nigeria. So that has been the problem. We hope that one day those who are saddled with the responsibility of dealing with this will really do it sincerely.
But what about the political will? Because, you know, I hear you. There was a meeting that was convened, I think, sometime last year with ex-agitators and talking about how the pipeline surveillance contracts are shared amongst, you know, those who are perhaps bidding for it, if I use the word, as against those who are nominated and passed over to the presidency. In terms of political will, you need to also look at the fact that people have accused high-ranking government officials, collaboration of conspirators in this process. Do you also think that that is also an angle to look at in terms of getting a key strategy towards ending it?
Yeah, you see, political will, we have always had such comments on papers. You know, because if you are accusing the military, the security agencies of deep involvement in oil theft, you also look at the politicians, the political elites who are also interested in the oil business. Go to Niger Delta region today. Most of the oil blocks are owned by politicians and the top military brass. So, you know, when you enjoy, you know, proceed from such kind of deals, you will not want to end it. Of course, it is the desire of the government to see that it ends so that there will be more revenue for government, for national development. But those who are heading different arm of government or those who are involved in these deals, you know, turn backward and, you know, try to, you know, have their own share of it, and so that they
circumvent the process.
Yeah, they circumvent the process and they continue to fund their kind of extravagant lifestyle and the rest of them. All
right, so government seems to have realized what you're saying and is making effort and really trying to see, okay, sometimes they say the government has no business in business, even though many people don't agree with that, but government has gone ahead to say, okay, let's get involvement of a private security outfit, you know, in this. And from listening to Melekari sometime, I think it was earlier or later last year, he did say that there has been some achievement in that regard. So tell us what your take is on this government's initiative to involve a private security outfit in this.
Well, to me, the decision by the federal government through the NNPCL to engage private security outfits such as the Tantita Security Services Nigeria Limited, you know, owned by government Ekpomopolo, aka Tompolo, is one of the best decisions that the federal government has taken in respect to this, or in trying to end oil theft in the Niger Delta. You know, the organization has really done a lot since its engagement, or rather, since it got into that contract with the federal government in 2022. I think that was when August 2022, that was when the contract was given to that company. And since then, it has been one success story or the other. And you know the pedigree of the person we are talking about, Tompolo, in person. You know, he has been a very proactive, a very visionary, and a very patriotic Nigerian who has always fought for the emancipation of his people. And, you know, being one who came from that region, he has always desired to see that what belongs to the people is given to them, and the government also have its own share. So now that he is in charge of securing oil pipeline installations and oil facilities in that region, the organization has done quite so well in securing the oil installations there. We've heard of so many arrests of pipeline vandals and you know, oil thieves who go about stealing from using vessels, you know, on the offshore, you know, at different level. It happened at the Ondo River, it happened in Delta, it happened in Bayelsa, and in so many other places in that region that his organization has been able to bust the activities of these criminals, and most of the time, you know, arrested and handed over to Navy for prosecution. And I think he has achieved quite a lot, and we give it to him. We also, you know, want to use this medium to appreciate the federal government for thinking towards this direction, and the NNPC for coming up with this very lofty idea. I think this should be sustained because it will go a long way in ending the oil theft menace that has plagued the oil sector in Nigeria.
All right, so I hear you loud and clear, and I think it's also quite important to note what you have just said, because we remember a year ago the back and forth between Asari Dokubo on the 48 billion naira contract that was given, and the issue that some of the areas that were to be covered by Tompolo was bridging into the Calabar region, 8 kilometers across that. But beyond that, and now that we are here, how do we also look at rehabilitation and re-engagement of some of these boys, some of these young persons? Because even while you're protecting and, you know, the pipeline, you know, surveillance contract and all of that, there are also issues of, you know, unemployment, issues of rascality, issues of the people involved. How does that also become a way to look at solving this permanently? Because if they do not have those people within those spaces, there won't be, you know, crisis around those areas.
Exactly. You see, like the federal government during the administration of late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua did, you know, organize amnesty for the youth in that region. That was a very a good decision, a measure taken by the government to, you know, calm nerves among the agitating youths in that region. And so, while this measure is currently being, you know, taken by engaging Tompolo's security outfit to secure this installation, I will go ahead to suggest also that the government should also look the way of, you know, empowering the agitating youth or those who may be displaced by this measure. Because, of course, whether we like it or not, there are people who are benefiting, though illegally, from what is happening. Now that their businesses are going to be, you know, affected or hampered, there should be a way of compensating them or engaging them so that you take them away from that business, that illegal business, all the same. But meanwhile, the point of emphasis here is that the Tompolo's security outfit has achieved greatly so far. And I think I will suggest that this contract, just like it was extended last year, you know, it was for 1 year initially, but in 2023, it was extended for additional 3 years. And so I will suggest that this contract should be sustained. And since that company has come to understand exactly what to do in this regard, the company should be sustained, the contract should be sustained, and no one else should be involved for now, because more hands may lead to, sabotage here and there because there will be this competition. Mine is doing better than yours and things like that. And so it may lead to more problem than we want to solve. So that company should be sustained, should be maintained, and then, we continue in that line because the successes have been enormous. Like in football parlance where they say you don't change a winning team. When you have a team that is already winning a game for you, you don't change them, except maybe for injury or something. Or else, for now, I believe that company is doing well and should be sustained. And there should be an effort, a very deliberate one for that matter, to see that those who need help, to keep them away from the crime of oil theft, the crime of pipeline vandalization, the crime of sabotaging government in enhancing national resources. They should be encouraged by employment, by other means possible.
All right. You rate achievement when, number one, probably the number of oil, liters of oil or in barrels of oil that are lost through oil theft is reduced. And then number two, if there are, people who have been arrested, that as to people who are engaging in this criminal act, and then they are punished. So lead us into this achievement, so to speak. Has anyone been arrested? I remember sometime in 2023, Tantita actually did intercept a vessel with stolen crude. And one of the discoveries is that there was no valid documentation, on or rather for the vessel or the crude oil charge that was on board at the time of the arrest. But eventually what we heard was that, the vessel was set ablaze. And I don't know where that has left Nigeria now, because at the end of the day, we have destroyed the stolen crude. We have also caused environmental issue with that. And then whether people that were arrested are still under detention or they've been set free, these are some of the issues we would want you to look at. And then the fact that even the GMD of NNPCL is still saying that Nigeria is still losing about 200,000 barrels, even, or is it liters now, per day to oil theft. So how do you rate that achievement you're talking about?
Well, you see, like I did say, of course, a lot of achievement has been recorded, and a lot of arrests have been made. I may not be able to give a detailed or vivid account of the number of people that have been arrested, but I know that quite a number of arrests have been made in this regard. And most of them, each time Tantita arrest such kind of criminals, they hand them over to the appropriate authority. And in this case, the Navy, who are saddled with the securing our maritime ways, the waterways. So they normally arrest them, hand them over to the appropriate authority for prosecution. And we hope and we believe that such kind of prosecutions are being made. But one aspect that you did mention that I would like to see that maybe moving forward, it shouldn't be the norm, is the idea of arresting vessel, then you set them ablaze or destroy them. Like you did say, of course, it is an automatic loss to us. Because if the crude or the oil that is being arrested is properly taken to the appropriate quota, it will still add to what we are to the oil production. It will increase oil production instead of destroying them. So I will suggest that aspect of destruction or burning of vessels or destruction of those vessels should be discouraged moving forward. Arrest should be made, and then whatever that has been recovered from them should be taken to the right quarters for an addition. Then going towards the other question of whether NNPC is losing barrels. Of course, since Tantita started this whole project, I can assure you that Nigeria has been able to meet up with OPEC production quota. In fact, currently now Nigeria is the highest producer of oil on the African continent. Recently, just from about meager of 500,000 barrels per day, now it has risen to about 2 million barrels per day of production. And this has really increased oil production, and also in terms of revenue, it has really brought in quite enormous revenue to the nation coffer in form of, in terms of foreign earning and foreign exchange earning to the nation's coffer. So I think that is a big plus.
All right, so I hear you, and I think I take it from where she talked about the level of production of, you know, barrels per liters, and when you talk about protection of surveillance of pipeline, it cuts across one state, it cuts across several regions. Now, there have been calls to decentralize the surveillance. I know that the Ondo State Delta Coastal Vanguard, you know, were one of the people urging that the president looks at decentralization of the surveillance because of 3 reasons. He says it will increase regional cohesion, it will increase collaboration, it would also make sure that there is fair and adequate engagement of everybody across those regions. However, if you listen to that and I hear what you say about the success stories, do you think that call holds water, especially in terms of unifying the interest of every members across those regions?
Well, to me, like I mentioned earlier, the best solution to this for now is to sustain and maintain the contract with Tantita.
Alone?
Yes, that is my opinion, because to me it's better. You know, when you decentralize it, the interest will be as in, there will be too many interests involved. Everybody will want to outdo the other. You know how we are in Nigeria. So it's better we just focus on one company that is already doing well, because Tantita is already doing well and achieving results for the nation. So trying to, you know, decentralizing it, giving it to more companies or more hands to be involved, to me, it won't all go well. There will be competition, and competition has a way of, you know, causing friction among people who are involved. So basically, I want to suggest and advise that Tantita should be allowed to handle the contract for now. If there is any other thing that the government need to do to, you know, assuage the interests of others, can go ahead. Like the case of either empowerment or whatsoever, there are so many ways government can bring people on board. But in this particular situation, we need to be focused. Let's just have one, you know, company who is handling it. We know that if there is any failure, we hold them responsible. And in this case, I don't foresee any failure in this matter for now, because the company is highly committed in achieving the result.
No, there are those who believe that, you know, it is actually the duty of government to protect Nigeria, you know, protect and secure, you know, all the critical infrastructure in the country. And of course, some authorities are also being paid for this. So now engaging other people again to deal with this maybe duplication of issues. But let's leave that and look at the fact that if we deal with all theft, you know, and we're not able to refine the crude that we produce, that one is another challenge on its own. And that is why we are where we are. So let's look at your own take on that as well.
Well, in which one in particular?
We get crude. We're able to secure the pipelines.
Exactly.
And then we get more crude, but we still sell this crude and go and buy refined product. So is there something you think can be done, you know, around this, particularly because our refineries seem not to, you know, be up and doing at the moment, as government promised?
Well, I think it is already a work in progress, and the process is on. As we speak now, the Dangote refinery in Lagos has commenced work, refining products, and like the government promised, the Port Harcourt refinery will soon come on board, and some other refineries too will start coming on board. But meanwhile, while we await the full takeoff of our local refineries for refining of oil product, of course, the usual way or method has been the selling of crude. And for now that the refineries are not functioning optimally, we continue with the process that has always brought money to our coffer, and that is why this idea of safeguarding the crude and preventing people from diverting them or stealing them is germane at the moment.
Stealing is one aspect, then also illegal refineries is another aspect on its own, through which a crude is also being lost. But we just have to leave this interview here. Yes. So we thank you very much for your time with us on this. We've been looking at how to end all theft and the involvement of private security outfit.
All right, well, up next is the Friday, so let's loosen things up a bit here, shall we? Entertainment and lifestyle.
Hello and welcome to Entertainment and Lifestyle. I am Chidera Ezedin. The organizers of the annual British Record Industry Trust show known as the Brit Awards have unveiled the nominees for the 44th edition of the show. Brit Awards is aimed at celebrating British music excellence as well as acknowledge the biggest acts of the year. Nigerian multi-award-winning music superstars Burna Boy, Ashake and Rema have been nominated for the All 2024 Brit Awards.
Out here on the road chasing my dream because I know you can't chase it for me.